They use it for the protection of the area too. But smudging is very common. It's almost, I don't want to say this in a mean way or a demeaning way, but it's almost generic as far as what it is used for and how it is used. But it has a very strong, spiritual meaning. We can't do it on campus. We have a special place we have to go. But when I was a student back here in '92 in undergrad, I was president of the Native American Club here, and we had to fight for a space to smudge, but everybody else could do whatever they wanted. Well, they decided that, they being the administration, they decided that there are a lot of spiritual groups that use smoke, so we'll put a place aside for them, period. So simple as lighting a candle. So that is at the Newman Center. I ramble.
Perfectly acceptable. Okay. Let's see. When a lot of people hear about Native American spirituality, the first thing they usually hear about is the cliche of totems and spirit animals. So what does that come from?
Well, looking at your thing here, it actually is spirit guides. There are different functions. Generically, I can only speak from the Wabanaki perspective, the main Indians of the Maritimes and Maine area. But I'll just tell you generically, because I'm involved in an organization that we visit. I visited over 30 different tribes and 30 different reservations for a week or more at a time, and part of our thing was to go through their ceremonies, and some of the ceremonies were pretty different. But totems are more of a story. Mm-hmm. Tells a story about your family, tells a story about your lineage in some way. And the totems can come in many forms, like little funny shaped objects that are carried around, or even totem poles, which basically tell a story. The first totem on the bottom of the totem pole is the most important person, because they're the beginning of that story that's built up. So those particular ones are Haida, or Coastal Salish, Kootenai. They're the ones that have those particular kinds of totems. And also, what they do represent, like I said, it was a story about someone's family or something that happened within the tribe that was basically involving their family. So totems is something that is created and accepted and passed down as something that's honored and revered. Now, the spirit animals you mentioned, those are different, because no matter where I've gone, there's a clan system. Whether you're Irish, Jewish, Black, Indian, Scandinavian, I don't care what you are. We all come from some kind of ethnic group in the past that has a clan, period, and has a symbol of whatever it may be, a crest, and at some point. And you look at them and they just look like these cool little symbols. But what we have is spirit animals and their clan symbols. And also, just not like if you look regionally, like in the Southwest, they have lightning and water clans. We don't need those up here in Maine. And so we don't have those. All of our clans up here are animal clans. We have 23 animal clans, ranging from the turtle, the owl, the eel, the bear, the otter, and the deer, and so on and so forth. They become part of who you are as far as your spiritual being. And I got to explain a little bit. If I'm boring you guys, you can throw rocks at me or something. But I think I've explained this in class. Maybe I didn't. So if you've heard this before, just what you're seeing in front of you, you're seeing John Bear Mitchell. Okay, that's only 50% of me. That's all you see. You don't see the other 50% of me. And I'm not preaching. I'm just telling you how you're asking me about spirit guides, and I got to set this up. So what you can't see of me is what we believe is my spiritual half. So in order for my spiritual half, which you could look at it as a mirror of me, but a part we can't see, then you can see essentially the complete me. But if physically I'm only 40% capable of functioning because I get a bad leg or diabetes, or I don't know, if I'm making things up, I get something physically wrong with me, so I can never really function at 100% physically, then, and I'm only functioning at 40% physically. And spiritually, I'm not connected. So spiritually, I'm not aware of anything. I don't believe in anything, afterlife or anything like that. Or maybe I do, but I'm spiritually damaged in that I don't practice anything. I just don't care to talk about it or whatever. So my spirit, the other 50% of me, is only functioning at 20% capacity because I acknowledge it, whatever. But spiritually, I'm sick. I'm not paying any attention. So what I have is I'm able to function on 60% of really what I am. So in order for me to recognize my spirit, I have to recognize that my spirit, like in life, when we have mentors, right? We have people that we look up to, we trust, we ask for guidance, and we kind of chug along with. And my spirit also has one of those, has that. But that is not necessarily something we're born with. That's something that's assigned to us through a coming-of-age ceremony. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be your clan, which your clan is, in essence, is your family's. It's basically that. It's your family. Like Mitchell might be my last name, and I could trace my lineage through the Mitchells. Well, Bear is my clan. I could trace my lineage in our traditional way through the Bear clan. And on my other side of my family, it's the Crow clan, so we can kind of trace that side too. So in order for my spirit to be able to be strong and to have guidance and to be able to walk, in a good way and in a safe way, then I need to have a spirit guide. Now when I say assigned to you, it's not necessarily assigned to you like somebody, a clan mother or an elder comes and says, this is your sign. You actually don't get your praying name until you've been through your first fasting ceremony for coming of age. That name that you pray with is the name. It's not necessarily the name of the animal that walks with you, spirit guide, but it could be totally different. Mine happens to be Kchimu and Miswan Nil Taliwi Skij in Awadu Naga John Bear Mitchell Nil Taliwi is in English, and so those two separate things. In other words, I'm acknowledging my spirit. My spirit name is my prayer name, and it's Kchimu and Miswan. My name, that's my physical, what you're seeing here, name is John Bear Mitchell in English. Okay, obviously. Oh, I said Kchimu and Miswan Taliwi Skij in Awadu, which means Kchimu and Miswan is my name in my native language. John Bear Mitchell is my English name. Niltaliwi is in English. So those don't have, it's very distinctive, and we don't interpret, at least in our way, the Wabanaki way, we don't interpret our name into English because it's not what it means. It's my name, Kchimu and Miswan, means Kchimu and Miswan. My name, John Bear Mitchell, means John Bear Mitchell. If somebody said, well, interpret your name, I don't speak your language, I'd say, well, it's hard to say. It's John Bear Mitchell. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means, John means the carrier of Christ's message. We know that's not true. Bear is an animal, and Mitchell, I don't know what that means. But, it's as hard as it is to interpret your name in English, it is almost that impossible to interpret your name in our native way. Now, I could tell you, Kchi, Muin, Miswan, those three words, my name, I could interpret those, but it doesn't tell you exactly, it kind of bastardizes my spirit name and my spirit guide, which happens to be a bear, but a brown bear, which we don't have around here. And my clan is a black bear and a crow. So that's a spirit guide. They walk with you. They can kind of. You ever do something, say, I'm not going to drive that way, or I shouldn't do that right now, but you're compelled to want to do that. Like, I want to go this way, but you don't. You go somewhere, you go the other way, but you end up at the same destination. That's, in our way, our belief of avoiding, of our spirit guide helping us to avoid a situation that's going to be hazardous in some way or traumatic in some way. Maybe you're going to see something. And if you don't go with that instinct, then